Interpolation is an expression we use to divide long linear motions to small segments. This can be used in all types of operations, but mostly used in parametric polar and simultaneous multi-axis operations in order to increase the toolpath accuracy. Keep in mind that it is normally not a must to activate interpolation on machines that have TCPC codes. However, if you are preparing a parametric postprocessor where TCPC codes are not available on the machine or cannot be used, it is a must to activate linear interpolation in simultaneous operations. Moreover, if you are preparing a parametric polar postprocessor where G12.1 code is not available on the machine or cannot be used, again you must activate linear interpolation in polar operations. To learn what parametric postprocessor is, watch the videos, What is parametric postprocessor, and What is parametric polar postprocessor? Interpolation adjustment is done inside action linear motion. If you want to interpolate linear movements in general, first be sure that you are on the top level operation. And then select action linear motion. If you only want to interpolate linear motions in a particular operation, you must first select the operation you want. Since interpolation is mostly needed in simultaneous operation, I will select this operation now. And then select action linear motion while you are inside that operation. However, I could not find action linear motion here. This is because event linear rapid motion has not been added yet inside this operation. Keep in mind that if an event is not present in an operation, this doesn't mean that this event is not working. When an event is absent inside an operation, this operation uses the event defined in its closest parent. In this postprocessor, since this event is not defined in the milling operation, simultaneous operation uses the event linear rapid motion inside top-level operation. Furthermore, if this event is also absent in the top-level operation, again this doesn't mean that this event is not working. Actually, Monospost continues to use this event in the background, even it is not added in any operation. Let's turn back to simultaneous operation. Now I'm going to add this event myself into this operation. By doing so, this operation will start to use its own event. Open Action Linear Motion inside this event. Here, on the Edit tab, you will see Use Interpolation section. First, select this parameter as true to activate linear interpolation. Second, you should adjust these below parameters. All these parameters are used to define the maximum allowable length for different conditions. The parameters x, y, and z-axis step length are used to define what the maximum allowable length of the divided line segments will be for each of these axes. You can define different values for each of them. How often intermediate points will be created is defined by these parameters. Similarly, the vector angular step is used to define what the maximum angular change of the cutting tool vector will be at each interpolated intermediate point. This parameter is only active on simultaneous multi-axis movements. When the start and end tool vector is different in a multi-axis movement line, this angular step value will create intermediate points on the motion line. And each intermediate points created will have new tool vectors created between the start and end cutting tool vectors. How often intermediate points will be created is defined by this parameter. Rotary axis 1 and 2 angular step values are similar to vector angular step. And again, these parameters are only active on simultaneous multi-axis movements. You can define different values for each rotary axis. The only difference from vector angular step is that, instead of creating intermediate tool vectors, rotary axis angular steps are calculated on real machine, rotary axis 1, and rotary axis 2 values. How often intermediate points will be created is defined by these parameters. You must be confused. How can all these parameters be used together to create smaller linear motion steps? Which one will be active, and when? Actually, it is so simple. Among all these parameters, whichever parameter divides the linear movement into smaller steps becomes active in that line. This means that only one parameter can be active at each linear motion line. Finally, if you want to disable some of these parameters, simply assign large values to the parameters you want to disable. For instance, if I increase these three linear axis values, monospost will only create intermediate points by using the vector and rotary axis parameters.